saying everyone was disappointed on Friday. Spot we hadn't been in this year, so you're hoping learning and growing and taking new heights for that. Um, and the response on Saturday after the disappointment on Friday, I was probably most happy with, and the idea that the determination just it's pretty easy to feel sorry for yourself in moments, and they didn't, and it really left Saturday left a really sour taste in your mouth about Friday. So I just think it's a good moment for our group and our expectations to win every single game.
You have a chance here on Saturday to celebrate a lot of seniors on this team, a lot of upperclassmen that have contributed to the program. What advantage inherently does it have to have so many guys that are upperclassmen on the team this year?
Oh, they're just the guys that have been here for their entire time. I think it's extremely special of coming in and me coming in, and they had opportunity to leave and they stayed. This is part of that journey. Their graduation, their senior, they're being a part of just being a Maverick and being an alum of being a Maverick at the end of this. And the guys that joined us here in the last top couple that are going to go through the same moment. I think for those guys to make the decision to come in and be a part of a program that they were maybe distant from before and have come in and impacted. So just they're great dudes. I can't say it loud enough. Like our talent is good. Our people are even better. And that senior group, they've earned the opportunity in the night.
This week's opponent is Nebraska Omaha, same name, came into the league at the same time, or came into Division I at the same time. Are you familiar with the Spirit of the Mavericks trophy? Are we playing for that this weekend?
Yeah, I guess there's a trophy on the line. We haven't had one. I remember last year in the exhibition game, they took it, if that matters. So, yeah, it's another incentive, I think. Man, I don't want to be, I'm straight cliche, but I don't care who we play. We just got to keep playing better, and we got to keep playing together. And, but winning and having moments that count, and those are important for the step we got to take as well.
Questions for Coach Kevin Dudley?
Hey Luke, just curious what you've seen from Omaha watching on film. I know they had the really good weekend at the Icebreaker out in Vegas, but then probably a frustrating weekend for them at home last weekend. What have you seen from them on film?
I think you're still on mute.
Oh, hear me now? Can you hear me? Hmm. You guys can't hear me?
Kevin, I can hear you.
Huh.
Oh, I think we got you.
Got me?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay. Just curious, in terms of Omaha, Luke, what you've seen from them on film. I know it was a big weekend for them, the first weekend at the Icebreaker, but probably a frustrating one for them last weekend at home. What have you seen from them?
I mean, you're talented enough to beat Minnesota. Augustana had a 67 out of 68 shot performance in net. Augustana scored shorthanded. They scored power play. They scored penalty shot. They scored. Omaha's a good team. And I will tell you, hats off to Rabs and Augustana for playing as hard and determined as they did and getting a sweep over them. But it should leave no doubt about what the damage Omaha can do after, like I said, Minnesota's got to be about as talented as you get in college hockey, and they had their way with them there that opening weekend.
Yeah, go ahead, Kevin.
Okay. Um, yeah, I'll just ask about the last weekend. I know 3-3, you guys are got some really quality wins. I don't, you go into this non-conference stretch, you're obviously not, no, you're not going to win all the games, but would 5-3 look a lot better than 4-4? And do you really feel like you've been building toward a chance to get a sweep here?
Well, it's the thing we haven't done. That to your point, Kev, I think is important for us to focus on. Um, be that guy again. You can't do without Friday. So for us to focus past Friday is crazy, but we need to keep taking steps. I mean, selfishly, I would love to be 6-0 right now, and we had moments of every one of those games to put that in line. And at the same time, I'll give our guys some credit because we could have been 1-5 in those games pretty quick as well, and our guys figured out a way. So we're going to attack this weekend. I get their ranked opponent. We're a ranked opponent. We're still playing against our standard and how good we can be, but they're going to be a big time opponent.
Don Westfall?
I'm going to play off that a little bit, Coach. And I know this is so early in the season, it seems silly, but it is your last non-conference coming up here. Do you even entertain the idea of what wins like a Michigan and North Dakota and success against Omaha can do for you from a pairwise perspective? Or is that just silly media talk?
I don't think it's silly at all, Don. Like, I know a lot of people have, asked about the schedule, and Hasty had the schedule lined up with North Dakota, and that had been in the making for a while contractually. We added Omaha a year ago. We added Michigan this year. We added, Merrimack this year. All of those teams are going to impact the pairwise because they're going to play good competition. They're going to beat good teams. So our job is to get out and get our wins against these, these other teams are going to go out and beat big opponents. So we want to play this type of schedule in the non-conference. We want to play something that's going to be challenging, and for the most part, it is for pairwise down the road and making sure that we can have an impact when our turn is called. Like we're ready to go because we play good teams, but they've beaten other good teams, which is going to be huge for us.
I'll sneak in maybe one other question referring back to last weekend, but I think it made a huge statement. Obviously, the shutout on Saturday, but 15 block shots in the third period, 34 for the game. Huge numbers. There were probably more ice packs maybe in the locker room than there were blocked shots, but what kind of statement does that make about your team to put it all on the ice and block? I mean, that's a huge number.
It was. I think not to take anything away from Trace's save percentage, but I think the guy's got a pretty good save percentage involved too. It's just our guys though. It's the way that they're willing and ready to sacrifice. They're willing and ready to be carrying in that manner. They know what happened Friday. They remember. They tasted. They felt that but we learned from it. So I was happy on that side. But it's going to take everyone, and you get the Wheels of the world who's got 7 or 8 blocks, whatever it may be. But then we're getting blocks from Luigi and Luch and Pitter, guys that got probably more offensive swagger than they do on the defensive side of thing, and that goes a long ways. If we're all doing it, then it's another layer, I think, for our team success.
Health-wise, where are you guys at right now?
Ice packs.
Coming out of the weekend, is everybody on the roster set to go?
No, I don't. You won't see Bolson yet. He's not going to be ready. You won't see Finn Williams yet. He's not going to be ready. He hasn't played yet this year, but those guys are still, they'll be touch and go here as we get into these weeks. But everyone else should be kind of pretty much available. We got some guys that are nicked up after the weekend, but hopefully by Friday, Schmitty and the crew have got them ready to go.
Kevin?
Just going back to the game on Saturday, it's not, is that a game that having it happen so early in the season, a game that where you play that well, how big is that not only for confidence, but just for like a blueprint of that's how it has to look, and if it looks like that, we can beat anyone. Is it big from that standpoint, just knowing, having a game like that to look back on as a blueprint?
I think you hit it on the head with the blueprint comment. There's going to be a way to play. There's going to be, guys are going to have to do maybe more than they're prescribed at times as far as, the shot blocks and the things that take a hit, make plays. We were timely. I thought that was a big piece. Scoring first is a big piece of the puzzle. Getting some, the distribution. Groller had a good weekend in scoring 3 goals, but when he scored his goals, how he scored his goals, he's inside the crease. Ice scores on a straight shot. I like their possession time. So I think there's some formula that way, and frankly, we didn't give up a lot over the whole weekend. So that's got to be part of that blueprint, and we obviously got to keep trying to figure out our specials here to make sure we can get ahead of this part.